I always thought cities never sleep. That's what they say about New York, about Los Angeles, even about places like Chicago where I grew up. But I swear to you, there are hours deep into the night when everything goes still, when even the hum of traffic fades, and you can hear your own heartbeat echoing off the walls of your apartment. That's when memories sneak in. Mine usually start with her. Her name was Elena Brooks. I met her on a Tuesday that felt like any other. I was 26, working in a small auto shop just off Belmont Avenue. I wasn't exactly living my dream, unless my dream was inhaling motor oil and drinking stale coffee 6 days a week. But that's what I had, and it paid the rent. She came in around noon, driving a silver Subaru that had seen better days. The engine sputtered like it was coughing up its last breath. I remember wiping my hands on a rag as she stepped out. She wasn't flashy, not the kind of girl who turned every head on the block, but there was something magnetic about her. The way she tucked a loose strand of dark hair behind her ear, the way her eyes, gray, soft, uncertain, met mine and then darted away. "Hi," she said, biting her lip. "I think something's wrong with my car. It's making this weird noise." I smiled. That's kind of my thing. I fix weird noises. She laughed. Quietly, like she didn't do it often. That laugh would haunt me for years. I told her it would take a few hours to check the car, and she said she'd wait. Most people dropped their keys and left, but not her. She sat in the waiting area, cross-legged, reading a book with a cracked spine. Every now and then, I'd glance up through the glass wall. She was the kind of calm that makes you curious. By the time I finished, the clock said 4:30. I told her the alternator was dying. She sighed and smiled like she'd half expected it. "How bad is it?" "Pretty bad," I said. "You're lucky it got you here at all." She laughed again, and something in me shifted. We talked. First about the car, then about everything else. She told me she'd just moved to the city, that she worked at a small art gallery downtown. She said she wasn't sure how long she'd stay, that she was figuring life out. I told her I'd been figuring life out for years. She said that made two of us. When she left, she thanked me and handed me a tip.
A folded $20 bill.
On it, she'd written a note. "If I ever figure life out, I'll tell you how."
Esse.
I saw her again 2 weeks later at a coffee shop near the shop, Mars Cafe, the kind of place that smells like cinnamon and burnt espresso. She was sitting by the window, sketching something. I froze for a second, then walked up to her. "Hey, your car still alive?" She looked up, smiled, and said, "Barely, but I think it's got your fingerprints on every part now." That became our thing. Coffee after work, her sketching, me talking too much. She said she liked listening to people with rough hands and soft voices. I told her she gave too much credit to people who fixed alternators. One night, after the shop closed, I walked her home. Her apartment was on the north side, above an old bookstore. She stopped at the door, turned to me and said, "You know, you're nothing like I thought. What did you think?" She smirked. "Mechanics don't usually talk about poetry." What can I say? I'm full of surprises. She nodded. Good. I like surprises. Fall came, and with it the kind of rain that turns the streets silver. We spent hours together, sometimes talking, sometimes saying nothing at all. She'd bring her sketchbook, I'd bring cheap coffee, and we'd watch the city blur behind the window. It wasn't official, whatever we had, but it was real. The kind of quiet, unspoken thing you don't want to name because you're afraid it'll vanish. One night, she asked me, "Do you ever think about leaving?" "Chicago," I said. "Every damn day." "Then why don't you?" I shrugged. "Guess I'm waiting for a reason." She looked at me then, really looked. "Maybe you already have one." I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. That night, I kissed her for the first time, right there under a flickering streetlight, with the rain coming down like a secret. That a few months later, she started pulling away. Little things at first. Late replies, missed calls, quiet stares that lasted too long. That I asked her once what was wrong. She said, "Nothing. I just have a lot on my mind." I believed her because I wanted to. Then one morning, I found a letter slipped under the shop's door. No name, but I knew her handwriting. Inside it said, "I need time. Please don't look for me. I'll come back when I'm ready."
Ese.
And that was it.no call. No message.
No goodbye, just silence.
The days blurred. Work became mechanical, the city became noise. I tried dating, tried moving on, but every girl I met felt like a placeholder. Every song, every sketch in a gallery window, every rainstorm, brought her back. A year passed before I saw her again. It was a cold November evening. I was walking home from work when I spotted her across the street, standing outside the same coffee shop where we used to meet. Her hair was shorter, her clothes heavier, but her eyes hadn't changed. I called her name. She froze. Then she smiled, the same quiet smile that had wrecked me the first time. "Hey, stranger," she said softly. We sat inside, hands wrapped around mugs of coffee we didn't drink. "Where were you?" I asked finally. She took a breath. "I left Chicago, went to Portland for a while. My mom got sick. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to stay. You could have told me." "I know," she said, "but you would have tried to fix it. And some things can't be fixed." I wanted to be angry, but I wasn't. I was just tired. Tired of missing her, of wanting something that kept slipping through my fingers. She reached across the table and took my hand. "I missed you, Noah." That was all it took. One sentence and I was hers again. We started over, slowly this time. She moved back into her old apartment. We made plans, talked about trips, the future, the small stuff that makes people believe in forever. But something in her was still hidden. I catch her staring off, distant. Once I found her crying in the kitchen. She said it was nothing, but I didn't believe her. Then one day, she didn't show up to meet me. I called. No answer. Texted. Nothing. That night I went to her apartment. The lights were off, but the door was unlocked. Inside, everything was gone. Drawers empty, walls bare. Except for one thing, on the counter. There was a small envelope with my name on it. "Noah, if you're reading this, please know I didn't want to hurt you. There's something I should have told you a long time ago. I'm sick. It started before we met. I thought I'd beat it, but it came back. I left the first time because I didn't want you to watch me fall apart. I came back because I missed you too much. But now, I can't do this to you again. Please don't try to find me. Elena." My hands shook as I read it. The room spun. I sat there for hours, waiting for the sun to rise, wishing she'd walk through the door. But I did look for her. For months. I called hospitals, galleries, even went to Portland once. Nothing. It was like she'd vanished into the air. I started painting me. A guy who could barely draw a straight line, because it made me feel closer to her. Every canvas was her face. Every shade of gray her eyes. People said I should move on. I tried. God, I tried. But some people aren't meant to fade. They stay. One night, almost 2 years later, I got a letter. No return address. Just a hospital postmark from Seattle. "Noah, I'm sorry for everything. I wanted you to remember me happy. Not like this. But I need you to know. You changed my life. You made it softer, brighter. Real. Don't stop living because of me. There was no date, no clue if she was still alive. I drove to Seattle the next day. The hospital had no record of her. Years passed. The auto shop closed, the neighborhood changed. I opened a small art studio. Not because I was good, but because she'd made me believe I could be. Sometimes people come in and ask about the sketches of a girl on the wall. They say she looks like she's somewhere far away. I tell them that's because she is. Every night, when the city finally goes quiet, I still see her. Sitting by a coffee shop window, sketching something only she understands, and I imagine her voice saying, "Maybe you already have a reason to stay." I never found out what happened to her. But maybe that's the point. Some love stories don't end. They just turn into echoes. And sometimes, when the city sleeps, I can still hear her laugh.